every team is due for a breakout series. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at this list, is there a team that jumps out at you for that purpose, that they might go further than they've ever gone?
I still have to look at New York. At the end. I mean, New York made such a splash. Mac was so great for that team. Attach, Zuma, temp, accuracy, all of them having amazing standout moments individually for their team and syncing well together as a whole 5-man roster. I want to see what they can do here. Like, do I look at someone like New York and say, I could see you in the grand finals? Absolutely. I can't wait to keep watching New York.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you think, Emily?
So in response to your question, in terms of team having like poised to have a breakout moment, I actually definitely think it's New York. In terms of a team that I'm watching to kind of make a statement, especially regarding how we've been talking about playoffs, I feel like this is the RØKKR's chance to sneak up into like one of those like top positions points wise, because they've consistently remained at a level where they've been earning a significant amount of points every single event, but without winning an event. And winning this event would actually do a lot to propel them, especially with the Huntsmen struggling and the FaZe in like who are, in my opinion, like no offense to Florida, are the other like really strong team I'm looking at in this lineup, and who the RØKKR are like historically matched up really well against.
I just haven't seen enough from Florida yet.
Yeah. I mean, like,
it's shocking to say considering they have a championship.
Right, they have a championship, but it's that I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's not enough.
It has to be
for
consistent.
Me, I guess. Yeah.
Like, that's the only reason why I'm talking about the RØKKR is like, this is like, in my opinion, they can make such a statement by winning this event, because this is like primed to have. Like, they can like prep on the Mutineers and beat them, the team that beat them previously. They already know they match up well against Atlanta. Like, this is like kind of a must win for them almost.
See, yeah, I would agree with that. Honestly, I would agree for the most part with Emily's assessment on Minnesota specifically.
To me, they need to win more than any other team here. I really feel like that, because they've been building momentum. But if they don't win here, how we're going to talk about them moving forward is, yeah, they're good, but they haven't won one yet, right?
Well, I mean, that's what we've been saying too, Arda.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, we've been saying...
That's going to be the focus of everybody. Like, right now, they still have that, like, CDL darlings tag on them, right? Like, they still have the upward trajectory just a little bit. But if they don't win here, especially when 2 of the top 3 teams are not involved in this tournament, and they allow another team to take that shine from them in this tournament, that will look bad upon them.
Well, I look at it as, right now, they are always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right? You are great, but can you be the best? Yes. Are you one of the best? In my estimation, are you one of the top 4 teams in this league? Yes. But can you ascend and become the best? Is where I look at Minnesota at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be this is a very, very interesting weekend for Minnesota. What about the Atlanta FaZe? They are clearly on paper many people's favorites going into this tournament. But going back to what I said earlier, I really feel like this is going to be a tournament where we're talking about a lot of different teams. We have the European teams who are in the middle of the pack in the standings right now. Wuskins is always on top of every stat you look at. Like, the guy's a monster, right? But, like, London doesn't have the success in the league thus far to show for it. But then you have a team like that could certainly break out. And you have changes on Optic, and you have New York Subliners that had a great tournament last time, and you have Minnesota that's always on the cusp. And then you have the Toronto Ultra that some people are saying that might have a breakthrough tournament. Like, there's all these teams that people are looking at to upgrade in this tournament, but then there's Atlanta. And I wonder is this a moot point and it's just, you know what, Atlanta's going to run roughshod, Katie, or are we really going to see some solid competition here?
I think, well, we've seen that Atlanta can bleed, right? We've seen them get knocked out of these tournaments. We've seen them lose. Not, they are not the first team to have 2 tournament wins. That would go to Dallas. So yes, do I think that a team like New York could beat them? Do I think that Minnesota obviously can beat them? Could Florida give them a run for their money? For sure. Do I still heavily favor Atlanta? Absolutely. But am I also very well aware of the fact that the competition has continued to rise to the point where, yes, throughout this entire season, Atlanta has been dominant, but other teams are becoming dominant too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing with Atlanta, and I talked about this last week when I talked about Atlanta, I think they started off like significantly ahead of the game in terms of having figured out this game specifically, like Modern Warfare specifically. Obviously, like, I don't think it's a coincidence that they have, incredible SMG player. And like, when we were talking about the game meta,
Yep.
and I think like a shout out that I gave them previously is that it wasn't just that they looked good in the faster game modes, it was also that they could slow it down somewhat and have a really smart S&D rounds as well. And I think their understanding of the game was like here and the rest of the league was here, and now it's like just a lot closer. As teams have, as rosters have adjusted, as some teams have made role swaps, as they've continued to improve week by week or made like complete player changes. And so now the challenge for the FaZe is taking what they already do well and improving on it.
Like domination.
Yeah.
I want to see them get better at domination. Please, God.
And I think like, in some cases like domination, you see that they can get really, really sloppy and just kind of overly rely on winning your gunfights. And like, yes, winning your gunfights is the key part of Call of Duty, but you also have to have some sort of backup plan or
Right.
like understanding of how you want to play.
It's not just gun skill.
Yeah, exactly. And like to their credit, I don't think it's that Atlanta have just been winning solely on their gunfights. Like I actually wouldn't say that about this team. I think if anything, they might be a little bit smarter than people give them credit for. But they have like a really solid foundation in this game specifically, Modern Warfare. So now they have to continue to improve on that as a team, take a look at where they have been faltering and adjust that going forward. Because otherwise, a team like the RØKKR that has already been shown to prepare very well for the FaZe and be able to match them like very consistently, they will be knocked out by that team.